It's so crazy. Okay. Um, what I learned week 1 and 2 reflection. Hi, this is Autumn Poitras again for Project 5. Project 5 for Humanities. Um, yeah. Sorry I'm late. I tried to upload I did voice notes because I wasn't able to do videos. I tried to upload those. It wasn't working. So here I am. I'm going to go ahead and record another video and try it that way. So Project 5. This is about what I learned in week 1 and week 2. It's a reflection. So I'm excited to show what I've learned. I got my notes here. These first 2 weeks of the humanities course has been really interesting, and I've learned a whole lot. It's got me back into reading, so I appreciate that too. This class moved very, very fast. That's one of the things that I noticed. But summer classes normally do. But it's already taught me a whole lot. So the topics we've studied about how basically it's how I think it's about more so how I think in this class and how I learned in this class. That differentiates it from any other class. We had to work on multiple projects, very fast paced. And I think each and every one opened up new ideas for me. So some of the key things that I put down that I've learned and how I feel about the course so far. And then I'm going to go break down and give a little feedback about the pace and the structure of this class too. So in Project 1, I'm going to go by Project 2. In Project 1, we looked at My Name is Red. I learned basically, I think about how much a novel can actually provide and give to the reader. That novel, it told us about, identity, culture, change. At first, it kind of just seemed like a murder mystery in a way, but it was so much more than that. And then when I watched the Annenberg video, I saw it was really about a clash between traditional Islamic art and then the Western Renaissance ideas. So that was pretty cool. A quote from the book that really stuck with me was, I'm going to read it. "I don't want to be a tree. I want to be its meaning." So initially it made me think about how different cultures view art. It's not sometimes, that some cultures, they don't just see it as something pretty, like we do, or I would normally. But it's something that's also, they see it as something full of meaning and purpose. I like how the book went through numerous narrators. It made it fun. Even the coin, a coin, the color red, that was pretty cool. It kept it very interesting. And it also makes you remember that every person, even objects, can sometimes tell stories, and all the views are very important, as a collective. Even in life, like, you might not think little animals or little bugs have perspective, but they do, because we're all in this together. Even like the environment and stuff. So, it kind of helped me think about it in real life aspects too, about everything. All right, so that was Project 1. Project 2, let's see, looked at how different cultures understand, I guess, pre-existence, and then the afterlife, like before birth and then after you pass. I used AI tools to help me with that, so that was fun. It's not every day you get to use AI in one of your classes. So, yeah. It taught me something important. I always know that AI can be very helpful, but using it during that project, it makes you see how much the person is missed. Like you can't, it's missing the emotional and like even the cultural depth. AI can't really do that. Only, people and humanity can. So for an example, I put an example down when I asked AI for art about the afterlife. I think I mentioned that in the other video. It showed mostly like Christian images, clouds, angels, golden gates, stuff that we Western folk know. But in real life, the afterlife looks very much different in every culture. In the indigenous stories, they talked about the souls waiting in the sky, and dreaming before they were even born. I know the Mexicans, they do de los Muertos, and focus on joy and actually the reunion of their family and passings. Egyptian art showed the soul through tests. So, each human faces death and the mystery of death and the mystery of afterlife. Well, each culture, they look at it very differently. That project kind of helped me think more critically about that, and also what we can and cannot trust. What we can trust from technology, and then what's missing from it. So human perspective matters a lot. All right, so project 3. That was what was that about? That was about the Istanbul in My Name is Red. So that was the city. I think that was one of my favorites thus far. Like again, that having characters outside of people made that very fun to read. And but you never think about, sometimes in books they can have like animals as characters, like Animal Farm or something like that. But this book, it was a city, as telling the story. So the Pamuk showed Istanbul not just as a place, but it was something that was alive. Istanbul remembered, it suffered, it grew, and it changed. It allowed me to, so as I put down, it allowed me to explore how Istanbul in the 1500s had economic problems, religious tension, and multicultural diversity. And again, I used AI during that project to look at history, but this time I made sure to add my own thoughts and connect what I learned with Pamuk's writings. It felt like it was, bridging the gap between facts and fiction, the novel versus reality or history. I'd never done that before, so I really enjoyed that. So I know you say I do so much, but I try to actually learn. But as far as about how I felt about this class overall so far, I'm gonna be honest, it's been very intense, but engaging. So it was a lot of reading, writing, thinking, but even though I felt like it was a lot, I have learned a lot. All these various projects, they kind of helped me focus on something that was more meaningful and apply my what I read instead of just memorizing it. So it kind of helps it stick more in that, in that way. I do believe that if there was more time for discussion and possibly reflection, because everything was so fast paced, we could have went so much deeper. Like we could have went down a rabbit hole with this stuff. But who wants to do that? I guess it was good. I will say some of the readings I kind of wanted to think about more, and possibly like it would have been fun to engage in, like if this was an in-person class, I think it would have been very fun to talk about that. It's what we've learned. So I would say maybe, no, not even. I just think maybe if it was in person, we could have done a lot more with this. But I think I'm absorbed most of it. I do appreciate that we didn't just cram a whole bunch of facts, like, just get it in and then dump it out. We were actually asked to think and create and, stuff like that. So Oh, the grading. I appreciate the specifications, like the specific grading pattern. It gave me very clear goals, and it reduced a lot of stress. I know my videos are pretty lengthy, um, but it's okay. I don't mind it, as long as you don't mind it. And then, let's see. I think it was pretty much meaningful work. I was very motivated. I think I stayed engaged during your class, so I appreciate that so far. I hope I continue to do so. I think I enjoyed seeing what everybody else was working on, and just like the story told, like everybody have a different perspective. Everybody had brought a different viewpoint, in their choice of the art and the culture, and it kind of rings the bell of what this class is about. It's about humanities, and it's about people, and none of us are all the same. So, what everybody learned, we all picked up different things. To wrap it up, I learned a lot in this class in just 2 weeks: art, culture, and literature, AI, and how to reflect and think very deeply about things. I learned that technology can be very helpful, but human meaning matters much more, in my opinion. This course has made me more, I think, curious about how people express themselves, their identities, their faith, and and change. Look forward to the next projects, and I'm pretty sure I'll keep learning more things along the way. Thank you.